Let's come to our breath. Scoot forward a little bit on the chair. And settle into the breath. Letting go of the to-do lists. Letting go of the noise to the best of our ability, the noise that is our daily life. Sometimes it's very, very demanding of our attention. And right now, the invitation for our attention is to go inward. Now we bring our hands to our heart center. We're going to interlace the fingers. And as we exhale, we're going to round the back and press forward. Oof. On the inhale, there's a little rock forward as we lift the arms and lift the heart. Exhale the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Lift the heart. And on the next inhale, we come back to center. Hands come to heart center. On the next exhale, we expand forward again. There's a little rock here. The upper back curls. The chin comes to the heart. We're going to roll a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left in this stretch. And then on the next in-breath, the hands float above the head. We press the ceiling away. Look up, gently breathe here. And then we're going to float those hands down behind our back. Find the stretch here. The heart lifts. The chin lifts. Nice stretch in the low back. So you'll notice this is a little cat-cow. So when our hands are in the back, notice how we've rocked a little bit further back on the sits bones. And now breathe in to bring the hands back to heart center. On the next exhale, we're going to press away again, rounding forward, chin to heart. Wiggle between the shoulder blades, wiggle in that upper back, wiggle a little bit in the rib cage, a little rock, a little roll, a little bit of a wiggle. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Nice. And then on the next in-breath, we're going to rise to the sky. Press the ceiling away. And in this position, we're going to turn just a little bit to the right. Come back to center. And then we turn a little bit to the left. Come back to center. Release the hands. Pause here. Breathe here. Taking that left hand, now we're coming to the right side, holding the outside of the thigh, and we're twisting to look over that right shoulder. Bring that right hand to rest at the waist or at the sacrum in the low back. Breathe here. And then we're going to come back to center. Pause. Breathe. And now we're going to take that right hand to the outside of the left leg. We're turning our torso. We're lifting our belly. We're lifting our heart. We're looking over the shoulder. We're going to take that left hand, rest it on the low back or wrap the waist. Breathe here. One more breath. And then we slowly come back to center. Hands come to heart center. Press away. Rounding the upper back. Breathe in. Raising the arms. And remember, you control how high your arms lift. We're going to look to the left. Tip to the right. Breathe here, 3 breaths. Come back to center. And now we're going to look to the left, tip to the right. 3 breaths here. And then we come back to center, release the arms, shake it out, pause, and find breath here. Now we're going to do a variation on the sit stand. So over the course of the last couple of months, we've been doing quick sit stands. This time we're going to go a little slower. There's not going to be a clock on this. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing chair. So we're going to come up. Hands will come to heart center as we slowly lower ourselves to the chair. So make it nice and slow. Rise again. Slowly lower to the chair. And we'll do that again. And yeah, if reaching behind and touching the seat of the chair feels more secure, please do that. I like the sense of security in my yoga practice. We have enough edges all over the world right now that we could be a little gentle with ourselves. And then the next time we come to stand, we'll arrive in mountain. And as we pause in mountain, the invitation is to breathe deeply and notice the lift of the heart on the in-breath. Maybe noticing that when we breathe in, there's a little rocking forward that naturally happens. The arches of the feet lift. The out-breath returns us to our heels. We're just rocking our body with our breath right now. Now we're going to take the practice that we did on the chair. We're going to bring it into standing. So here we're going to have a little bit of a soft knee, a soft bend. So control how deep you want to go. This could be a full chair, or maybe it's a shallow chair, depending on your knees. what your knees need today. We're going to start with our hands at heart center. And then we're going to clasp our hands, bend our knees, round the upper back. Breathe in, pressing into the floor to rise. We're going to tip to the right and look to the left. Breathe into center. Tip to the left and look to the right. Breathe into center. Come back to mountain. Hands float to the heart. We'll do that again. We're going to bend the knees slightly to press away. Breathe in to rise. That knees come a little more straight. We're going to tip to the left and look to the right. Inhale to center. Tip to the right, look to the left. Inhale to center. Release the hands. And we'll do that one more time. Hands come to heart center. Bend the knees. The in-breath takes us to the ceiling. The out-breath takes us to the right as we look to the left. Inhale to center. Look to the left as we turn to the right. Come back to center. This time we bring our hands behind us. We're going to lift the heart. Relax. Lift the heart. Press the hands away from the low back any amount. Lift the heart and release. And one more time. And we come to pause. We're going to be using our chair today. We're going to do a little Warrior 3 work. And when we're doing this, it's really an invitation to be clear with yourself about how deep do I want to bend my knee? How much help do I require to stand on one leg more than the other? How high can I lift my leg and still have a sense of ease and comfort in my body? So this practice is really good for strengthening the legs, but it's also good for the low back. So we're going to stand a little ways away from the back of the chair. So we're going to use the back of the chair for balance. And we're going to start by bending the right knee just a little bit. And we're going to extend the left foot behind. So we're on the tiptoes behind. And now on the in-breath, we're going to straighten the front knee and we're going to lift the back leg slightly. And then we're going to bend the knee, the front knee, and then we're going to straighten it. So we're going up and down, not very far, breathing. So we're using the knee here. And we're juicing it up. We're getting any and all synovial fluid in the knee to be liquefied so that we have a little more ease in our joint. We're going to pause. Release that back foot. Come to stand and then notice stability, grounding, body length, what side feels longer. And now we're going to switch sides. So now we're going to bend the front knee, slight bend. The back foot is on the floor, tiptoe. And then we're going to straighten and lift, and then bend and touch down. Straighten and lift, bend and touch down, straighten and lift, bend and touch down, straighten and lift, bend and touch down, straighten and lift, and touch down. That foot comes forward. We're going to pause here. And now we're going to go into a warrior 3. So we have a sense of having our ankle under the hip. We start with a bent knee. We have a sense now of how high we can lift our leg. So just explore with this first side, how high does my leg want to come up? And then we're going to bend the knee and tuck it toward the seat of the chair. Again, extend the leg toward the seat of the chair. Extend the leg, and remember, you control how high your lift is and how high your back leg lifts. We're going to pause, and we're stopping, noticing, observing, being present with what is in our body. And then we're going to bring the hands to the chair again. Here we go. We start with that soft bend with the leg behind, and then we lift and straighten and draw the knee forward. Keep breathing. Feel the fullness of the foot that is supporting this posture, connected to the floor, to the mat. And one more time. Pausing and coming back up. Come to mountain. Find breath. Soft bend in the knee, hands to heart center. Press away. Breathe in to rise. Release the hands on the out breath to lift the heart, creating a back bend perhaps. On the next inhale, hands come back to heart center. The next inhale takes us into the curving of the back. The next inhale takes us to the sky. This time we tip to the right, look to the left. Come back to center on an inhale, tip to the left and look to the right. Back to center on an inhale. Release the hands. They come behind the sacrum, the heart lifts. The hands lift a little bit away from the sacrum. We have a nice back bend. And then we're going to pause. Come back to breath. Come back to mountain. Notice the inhale and the exhale. Happy knees. Let's do a little happy knee work. We're going to bring our feet underneath our hip joints. We're going to start by bringing our hands to our heart. We're going to bend our knees slightly, and we tuck our sit upon back. Now shift the weight to the right foot. Come up on the tiptoe of the left. Shift the weight to the left foot. Come onto the tiptoe of the right. We're going to go back and forth. If you feel inclined, you can always lift your foot off the floor. Follow your rhythm and pace of what feels good here, honoring the differences between the right and the left side. And we don't have to go very far here or very deep. The next time we find ourselves back at center, we're going to pause. Noticing. And now we're going to move, lifting one leg and the opposite arm. And maybe walking a little bit this way. Maybe if you don't want to lift your arm above the head, you can bend your elbows. And now let's go backwards. Still lifting the knee. Then we pause, take the feet as wide as the mat, do a little bit of seaweed here. Make sure those feet are pivoting. Make sure that we haven't locked our feet to the floor. This gives the knees a little bit of grace. And then the next time we're back at center, we're going to bring our feet into alignment on a horizontal line. I know you love this. We're going to place that one foot in front of the other, and we're going to walk the tightrope, finding balance. And then maybe go backwards, or maybe turn around and go backwards. We're coming to September, and September traditionally, for me, is when we begin doing deep exploration into balance. And so this is just a precursor of what's coming in September. I know Tutu, Brenda's on this call, and she says she stands at the sink with one foot in front of the other. So I'm going to invite you to stack your feet, one foot in front of the other. And then we're slowly going to slide down our legs. Keep the hands in contact. That's where the sliding is happening. And travel only as far as the first point at which you notice tightening happening, which will probably be in the back leg. Whew, lots of balance action here. And then we hinge up, switch legs. I'm going to have a chair nearby because my balance is feeling it today. Slide down the legs again. Pausing when the tightness occurs. Ooh. One more breath. Then bring those feet to connect with each other. Insteps touching. Soft bend in the knee. Press into the floor. Come back up to standing. Shake it out. And we're going to return to our chair to close our practice today. So when we're sitting down in the chair, take your time to get there. Scoot a little bit forward on the chair. We'll do one round of cat-cow. So we're going to slide our hands to cup our knees. We're going to round our upper back, stretch into the low back, breathe here. And then the hands slide up to the top of the thighs. We press into the top of the thighs to lift the heart. Lift the chin. One more breath. And then we come back to center and settle in to our Shavasana, noticing our breath. Today's thought is from Eckhart Tolle. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. And my note that I add to that is abundance is a fullness of happiness, joy, community, connection, vibration. It is an embracing of all that is in a way that serves not only the deepest aloha within us, but amplifies that aloha into the world. That's real abundance. Join me as we open our arms wide to gather all the blessings that already exist, and we draw them in appreciation and gratitude into our hearts. And together we all say, Namaste.